Don't forget about your dog. That law. You broke niggas that you be against the law.
Welcome back.
Welcome back to another motherfucking episode
Of DatLawPodcast, where we engage in intersectional creative conversations and things that should simply be that law.
That law.
I'm your co-host, Lauren Lawrence.
And I'm Caitlin Lawrence.
And how are you feeling? Like, I'm really excited to be here. Things are different, as y'all can see.
It's very different, very new. Like, because it's just too good. Like, I just feel blessed to be here, finally in the space that we've honestly dreamt about. Like,
We got headphones on. We ain't never had.
we can hear ourselves in the headphones.
We can hear ourselves.
Before we couldn't even hear the sound.
But I think the cool thing about that, though, is that we're really showing the progress that goes into, like, these creative productions. Because we started in your bedroom.
Honestly.
Then we got to
COVID.
Up to Something Studios, which was still a great space.
Yeah.
And now we're here in a space that's created for what we're doing.
Yeah.
You know?
It's great. It's
great.
honestly surreal. And, like,
You guys like the new logo?
it's great.
It's great. And
I love it.
now we also have, our producer, Louis Vigo, in the back.
In the building, Louis V.
So, as you can see, a lot of different changes, and we're happy to be here, and we're happy to be back with you guys again. So,
Another one.
Are you ready to get into
That mood board. What's on your mood board?
What's on your mood board, ho?
What's on your mood board?
What's on my mood board?
What's on my?
Okay, like, my mood board's a little thick today.
We gonna go first. This bitch wrote a whole discussion post, y'all.
And I would like to get your answers about my discussion post due by Sunday.
I'm excited for the discussion post, though. Don't get me wrong.
Okay, well, my mood board is thick, and I think it's because I've been feeling very inspired lately. Funny enough, I realize we don't talk much about, like, our practices here. Like, we talk about it, but it's always on the surface.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my biggest series that I've taken a big break on is my vaginal series and my vulva series.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm tapping back in, y'all.
I miss her.
We're tapping back in.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the biggest people that unfortunately has not been on this earth for a while now, that has been inspiring me the most is my girl, Hannah Wilkie. And we have her.
Hey, Miss Hannah.
Right here. Yeah, you see how big this book is.
I actually really want to, like, peruse through that.
No, you should. And so it's her first monograph written by Nancy Pencilton. And basically I've just been inspired by her just because of how, mind you, she was making, like, really, how do I say this? Like, work that has to deal with the vagina, but so explicitly in a way that at the time, mind you, she was making work in the 70s.
Yeah.
That people were
totally, like, just
what the hell?
taboo.
Taboo. And she was using, like, materials as latex. So what I've been inspired by her is, like, just jumping out of my comfort zone in terms of materials and, like, how can I depict this body part that is almost, like, unrecognizable, And I'm trying to also, I think, through Hannah Wilkie, yes, utilize my experiences with this body part, but also like using it as a metaphor for other experiences that I may not have went through myself.
Yeah.
How can I, like, enter these conversations through this medium, And I think, like, Hannah Wilkie, she just done that to, like, a higher degree. That's so confrontational.
Yeah.
And then the second person that, like, kind of follows after her is Carolee Schneeman. And she has, like, I wish I had, like, a picture of it, but we'll insert it in. She has this performance piece, which is, like, one of her most famous one, and it's called The Interior Scroll, where she's, like, almost pulling out, like, it looks like a tampon, but it's a scroll of notes that she's written for herself, like, talking about,
super
like,
conceptual.
Super conceptual. But mind you, she's doing this, like, in the early 70s. So people are like, oh, my fucking God.
Like, what's going on?
Like, what is this?
Artists of the art, like, the height of, like, psychedelics and festival culture. And
really?
just,
like, where feminist art was really coming into play, honestly.
It was definitely created around that time.
They were the heavy hitters, 100%.
Yeah.
So with that work specifically, like, how she kind of talks about, like, this vulvic space. Like, when have you ever heard a word like that? Like,
vulvic space.
Caitlin, how's your vulvic space doing today?
How is my vulvic space doing today? That's a good question.
That's a good question.
Like, I'm gonna start asking myself that every day. I actually love that.
Like, I love that. Like, hey, you doing good? Work's good. How's your vulvic space?
How's the vulva?
Exactly. So those are the two on my mood board because I really want to be tapped into this series. But I think as all artists and creatives, we do have to study those that have created work very similar to us to kind of see what directions we can go in.
Yeah, because they really paved the way for, like, the artists that we want to become, They already made that pathway, like, even exist in this world, you know?
Exactly. And like even how she refers to vagina as like an architectural referent, like I don't even know what that means, I'm gonna be honest with you. But like just using that terminology with the body and like stepping outside of it as being a sexual organ, as you want to say, and just how us with vaginas, with vulvas, like these experiences we have with it, but also without it, if that makes sense. Even though it's a part of us. Like there's so many conversations that we can enter in that don't also have to be super vulnerable, but super conceptual. Yeah. So that's my mood board.
I love that.
That's my mood board.
Like I learned today.
Education.
Scholar. But on my mood board is actually an artist called, I don't know if a lot of you know about him, because he's like underground, but not. It's so weird. I feel like he's in the world of Sminos, but like a little like higher. It's like weird, but his name is Saba. He's really just a dope ass artist. And I actually became like super obsessed with him during COVID. And I was just letting my laptop play and I'm like, you know, Tiny Desk concerts just will come on, and his Tiny Desk came on, and I was never really that into him. And I remember just like listening, and I was like, who is this? Like, who is this man? And like just the way he like tells stories through his music and the way he expresses himself, like I genuinely felt like I promise y'all, I may have cried. After that Tiny Desk. I was like, Cyrus on the way. But I was super inspired because it's like, look at this like black like 27-year-old, like, well, he's probably younger than like Chicago native just on this platform. And I mean honestly every time I see like black young creatives on a platform like Tiny Desk, I'm just always excited because I feel like that's what the platform's for, you know, to showcase all these like talents. So I just became super into him and like his music and just like his storytelling. And honestly, when I write music and when I like dive into like that world, I feel like I always think about him because he just inspires, like his pen inspires me, you know?
Hell yeah.
Like I genuinely feel what he's saying. I feel like I know him. I feel like I know exactly what happened on prom night. Like
girl, photosynthesis has me here.
Like, you guys probably know that song. It's going around on TikTok right now with Jean Doe. Like, oh yes, I made it alive. To get it very nice. In this moment of mine. I just love it.
We love it.
I love it. So he was just like, he's just cool. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie, like he on my mood board and I love him, and and he definitely is just like right there right now for me. But like,
tell him.
He made me mad. You guys, I literally drove 4 hours by myself for his tour. I went to Orlando by myself, lone wolf. Literally microdosed some shroom chocolate, got in line an hour early,
made a TikTok,
excited. I'm going viral. Hey, like Saba, I'm here. Like, and it's so funny because while we're all sitting there was like a few of us who were all like kind of alone, but we hadn't talked yet. So we were just kind of like peeping the scene. And I was like, And I'm watching all his like tour, like just like his team, like packing up the tour van. And I'm thinking, why they still setting up? Like the show started in an hour. Like what's going on? Everybody's energy looks annoyed. But mind you, when I was pulling up, like driving past the venue, I see somebody getting arrested. But initially, I thought it was Saba because the way the police were walking with him, it was almost like they were escorting him. And there was a lot of them. And I was kind of like, oh, maybe they're just making sure.
Oh, you've seen him. You've seen Saba.
It wasn't Saba. But when I was like driving by, I just saw like some random black guy. He was tall. He kind of looked like him, but I was driving by and I was kind of like, that was weird. Like, that's what just happened. Like, okay, whatever. And then as we're sitting in line, somebody's like, oh yeah, we heard the show's canceled because one of the artists in the camp got arrested. They got into a fight, and you know, Orlando PD dumb petty, like they're just dumb petty. So I'm like, what could have possibly happened? So at this point, we're all in denial because we're like, who's this guy? Like,
yeah,
nobody's listening.
Like, okay,
okay, sure. I'm checking Saba's Instagram, like, we good, y'all.
Tell me it's not true, babe.
The shrooms are hitting me, and I'm sitting there like, I feel everything. Like, I want to cry. And then, like, I literally went to the bar, got a drink, and then I'm like, okay, like, I'm ready. This girl comes around like, y'all, the show's canceled. We sorry. And everybody's like, what the heck? We just drove all the way here. And it's like, I know it's not his fault, but I'm genuinely, like, I have not listened to a song since I'm genuinely triggered. Like, I can't.
But don't forget, we saw him.
I still love, but And
we got a little piece. We got a little teaser.
We did get a little piece. But he was at Smoking Grooves. We had went to Cali a few weeks ago, which I would love to talk about. But
I know.
It was just such a great trip.
We can talk about it. Maybe we'll jump in at tea time.
Jumping in at tea time. Stay tuned. But yeah, it was just crazy. It was so heartbreaking. But I honestly, since I did see him at the festival, he made like a surprise appearance on Joe K's like selection set. So it was just like amazing that I did get a little piece. But I was like so sad, and I'm like, I'm kind of mad at you, but I'm inspired.
And I've been mad through you, like seeing his like, which I love
sold
that
out shows, sold out like posts. I love like, you rubbed it in my face,
especially as an independent artist. Love that, but it's like knowing that I was on the phone with you and just kind of knowing like with you, the experience with you. I was just like, dang, like
how you gonna do me like that?
How you gonna do it like that? Like she drove 4 hours.
He was supposed to take me from the ghetto.
No, he was supposed to take you out the hood.
Like, take me out the hood.
But you know what? And then it's funny though. It's funny how life works because the way we seen him at selection was such a surprise. Like we were in the merch line,
so
freezing our ass off, trying to get a jacket.
We weren't even in the line yet.
We were getting to the line.
We were walking to the line. Like something just guided us to that area. And mind you, like when you're in a concert, the stages are pretty far, so you can't really hear all of what's happening on the stage. So it just like the synchronicity was like perfect, and we happened to be passing by the stage, and
he was like, "Yo, make some noise for my man Saba." We said,
"I said who?" And mind you, I just had the tiny desk on at the Airbnb, like, "Oh my god, I love him!" Like, y'all listen to him. So it's just like it was crazy, but whatever. I'll see him again. I'm gonna catch him in them streets. No.
Hey, Saba.
It was me, Loki, looking at the production industry like, y'all need help? Y'all need help on tour? Like,
y'all niggas hiring.
Y'all niggas hiring? Because, like, get me up out of here.
Yeah, speaking of y'all hiring.
Speaking of, I guess that leads us into our topic for today, you guys. I feel like we can all just, like, agree that we're all feeling this, like, job itch. Like, the capitalistic, like, box is getting tighter and tighter.
Like, and it's just, but it's so crazy though, because I also, and I guess this is coming just from like the recent Libra full moon that came. Like, I just feel like there's going to be such a shift in the corporate world that's coming up. Cause like all of us are feeling that way. Yeah. Like, I mean, I can't speak for everybody, but every single, like all of our friends that we talk to are like,
everybody, like our friend quit her job. Like we have people not even itching, but they're running.
They're
like,
running,
they're
sprinting.
running for the hills. And I'm like, bitch, I'm trying to get like you.
I'm trying to get like you.
Like,
so do you want to start with like your job experience? Like,
I mean, I just feel like honestly, even just like last night, you guys, I had a dream about, it's actually funny because I had a dream that we were at a festival, me, you, and Sasha, and we were walking, and there was an artist on, like, it was almost like they were setting up or like leaving vibes. Like, it was nobody there but us, like a couple other people. It was weird. And it was like an artist, a rapper. I would not be able to tell you who this man is. He wasn't a real rapper, but he was a dream in my dream, he was a rapper. And in the dream, he called me over, and I was like, huh? Who, me? Coming. I'm coming. So I was like, what happened? And like his manager was like this black woman, and she was like, oh, like we wanted to book you for, I couldn't even tell you what they wanted to book me for. It was just like, they were like, we heard you DJ and you're into production. Like we want you to come like on the show with us. Like real like booking me for like dream job. Like, and I was like, oh my God. Like, and I remember going back to you guys, like, you guys, like,
you don't know what just happened.
Like, I think my life about to change. I'm about to take us out of the hood. But like, y'all ready? That's what we should title this. No, trying to get myself out of the hood.
Because get out the hood itch. No, but it was just crazy. I understand that.
And then to wake up and have to go open at work at a place I hate. I was in this like psychosis this morning, like driving to work. Like, is this real? Like, was that dream really fake? Like, I woke up like disappointed.
Nothing's worse than that.
Like a good dream.
Like, it's always another day.
I was at work like, damn, like itching to leave. Like, it was just crazy.
And it's so frustrating though, because it almost feels as if like you're in this non-ending cycle. And I realize like a lot of us in our generation we don't like routine.
Yeah.
Which is like, I don't see it as a bad thing, because why should life be a routine? You could wake up and get into a car accident the next day.
Exactly.
You know, and then now you got to just switch everything up. So
whole life.
I definitely feel that.
Yeah.
100%, where I'm just like really frustrated and I want to itch, because I'm just like, damn, we get so close and we're still not doing exactly what we want to be doing. Like, in my experiences speaking with museums, like I'm still blessed to be working in the industry that
right.
I wanted to
like
work
great
in.
position, but still not
doing it. Like I'm feeling
Yeah.
really caged at my job right now, where it's like just sit there, do what you got to do, help us out. But it's not like, hey, Lauren, come meet this person. Hey, like it's not that anymore. And it's an itch because we know we bring to the table. We know we worked.
It's like that feeling of being overqualified and being in a position and people acting as if you're not overqualified.
Exactly.
You know,
or not exemplifying your talents.
Yeah, or not even trying to help the the qualifications grow. It's
At
kind
all.
of like, what am I?
At all. But then it's like, I guess with this topic, we're like both trying to have this conversation of how do we navigate that. And I guess from my experiences, I've been trying to navigate it by finding what can make me feel moisturized again. Heal again. So instead of itching, I feel moisturized. And I think what I've been missing a lot from my experiences is I've been so caught up in like, yes, I want to get more into museum studies. There's so much knowledge I can learn about when it concerns curating exhibitions. But I do miss that space of like during COVID where I got to just be an artist and I got to really focus on my art.
Focus on the capitalistic part of it all.
Exactly. Just making my work, but also understanding what my work means to me and other people.
Yeah.
So how I've been trying to navigate that is I've been applying to artist residencies and like at least allowing myself that, you know, even if I get rejected or not, that
I tried and I really
tried.
put myself out there. And at least like it's one of those things too, like applying to those things, it's like at least they see your name. Like you never know your name like may pop up again and they're like, hey, that name sounds familiar. Like I was just telling my homegirl how I applied to this art direction like digital course because the director, he's a Black guy and he's done a lot of marketing for like a lot of ads, a lot of campaigns, like, and what he was teaching like portfolio wise, I felt like I just really wanted to learn. But then once I heard that price, I was like, for how many virtual classes?
I was not expecting that. But that's the thing. That's
like,
a good point.
Like, I was genuinely, like, I'm still in the space of, like, deciding if I want to do it or not. And I'm like...
And that's the struggle, though.
No.
And I think that's why a lot of us have this itch and frustration because when we want to shift or pivot, there's, like, the financial burden of, like, okay, now you're leaving a secure job, or like a secure financial stability, and then to take that risk that also costs money. But now I'm leaving this financial stability to take a risk that's going to cost me money. So it's like
like I'm dipping into the same money that I'm trying to save, and then it's like it never ends. Like, and I don't mind investing in, you know, like myself and my craft, but it's like it reaches that point where it's like like how much more can I take? Makes sense.
Like, and it's funny because I'm sure you can relate to us with our Caribbean grandmas and our where like even I was having this conversation with my grandma. She was like, "You get bored so easily. You want to leave jobs." But it's also like, why would I not be bored? Like,
what is so fun here?
What is so fun here? And I think that also comes from, and this could be an assumption, but I feel like our parents stayed in jobs to support themselves and their family. So it wasn't really like, I don't care if it's boring or not. It's supporting me. Whereas if a lot of us, thank you to our lifestyle, our parents, whatever, we had that comfortable room where we can make these like risky decisions in a way. Like I don't have to feel as if, oh man, I gotta do it. I got 5 babies at home. I gotta work.
Like
my husband,
like my husband's at the war. Like no, like this is a new day and age. Like there's so many jobs that was not available to them, and I think that's also what kind of confuses them because that wasn't a reality for them. Like they didn't have social media to post their art. They didn't have like the tools that we even have now that we're able to like build on and build whole ass careers off of. And it's like, I just hate that we're always looked at as like dreamers. I guess like the millennials, probably more generation
very
X
Gen
or
Z.
XYZ, XYZ, ABC 1, 2, 3. Because like I just feel like we're dreamers. Like what else are we supposed to do? Like we grew up watching people achieving like dreams from doing what they love. So it's like, why not? Like, and maybe what I love may change. And that's okay.
We steady, and we were just talking about this outside of here, like we steady have to prove to that to them.
Yeah.
Where it's like, why do I have to do that? Just believe in me.
Just believe in me. Baby, believe in me.
You know, send me a little wow. Send me a little money to support me.
Invest in me.
Invest in me.
Because honestly, that like it's the foundation.
It is. So, but I think with the job itch, what the scary part about it is that we go through these moments of feeling like this is it. And I think that's the scariest part about it, of like even literally yesterday I was at work and I genuinely just wanted to cry at the desk because I was just thinking like, is this really what I'm going to be doing? Like for the rest of this year? Like,
do I want to do this for the rest of the week? Do I want to finish this shift. Like
Watching the clock
every shift. I'm tired. Every hour feels like 100 days.
No, literally.
I can't. And it's funny that we're even talking about this because I actually texted an old coworker today, like just thinking about him. And I'm like, how are you? Because the last time we talked, like a few weeks ago, he was saying that he had quit our job and moved to another job. And then he told us that, he was about to quit and start his own business with his mom. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh my God, like quit that job. Like, fuck that.
Family business.
Yeah. Build your foundation, like generational wealth, you know? And I texted him today, like just checking up on him. And he was like, yeah, I quit. Like, I'm building my business. And I'm like, I'm so inspired. Like, I'm thinking about doing it right now. Mm-hmm. Right at this minute, actually. Like,
and it's like that thing of doing that. And then do you ever have, I don't know if I want to call it fear, but then that like minor anxiety of like, oh shit, I already know what my mom about to say.
That's what I told him. I'm like, I don't want to disappoint my mom and I don't want to disappoint myself. But then I feel like I'm disappointing myself being here, scared to disappoint my mom. But then it's like this weird cycle of like financial security. But then it's also like, is it really secure? Yeah.
Is it making me happy?
Like, it's a check, but like, I kind of want to make like 10 times more.
Yeah.
Like,
happy.
It's cute.
Like, I want to wake up to go to work like the sun will come out tomorrow. Literally. Like, I want to wake up like that, like to go to work. And
I think the annoying thing about that is though, like, once we have our dream positions, I still feel like it's going to be like another job.
No, but that's the thing. I think it's a never ending cycle. And I feel as though the only way I can cure that is just still working on what makes me not feel that way. Like even last night.
Keeping hobbies too.
That part. Not every hobby needs to be monetized.
And I've learned that, like I'll quit jobs and be like, I'm gonna do this full force. And it's like, bitch, you're broke. Like, go to work.
Y'all I feel like there needs to be more small business workshops because the way some of y'all just jumping into these
there are small business workshops, but the girls are charging $1,500.
No wash. I'm sorry, that's a random thing, but I just don't get how a hairstylist not washing my hair. Please. Like, I was watching a TikTok randomly where the girl was saying, like, I don't know. She's like, I don't go to no hairstylist born after 1989. Because y'all don't be washing my hair. And I was like,
they don't wash hair. They don't wash your hair. And make sure you comb blow dry. And it's funny because I used to be that hairstylist.
I know, that's what I'm having.
But I didn't mind blow drying. But like, don't come with your hair like
not tea.
Like, it's gonna take us a whole hour just to get to the style. So I be getting them, but like, it'd be too much.
I was that client. Okay, let's bother. Where I was coming. Remember when I first locked up and I was coming real?
I was like, girl, what's going on? Scratching them apart. Like what is going on?
But back to the topic though.
But yeah.
You know what's crazy though? Mm-hmm. I have been, speaking of itch, I've been having an itch to go back to school.
Yeah.
And it's really weird because I was mind you, I've only been out of school for almost a year now, which is very crazy.
It feels like it was like 2 days ago.
I know. I feel like I was just walking out. But now I guess I'm kind of hit this, like, I don't know if I want to call it a roadblock, but I guess when it concerns curating and some of these museums that I do want to eventually curate for, even though I love curating independently, I do have to have my MA.
Yeah.
And then eventually, I really do want to teach. I really do want to teach college. And I know at some point later on in life, I just want to make my work and help lead the next generation.
Lead the next hoarding.
Yeah, like I know at museums, at some point, I'm going to want to wipe my hands. Because museums are still corporations. They're so political. And I know at some point, I'm just going to want to make my work and be done with that. But
have you ever like thought about starting your own museum?
Hell yeah. That's the goal. Yeah. What I'm doing right now is taking the formula, mixing in mine, and then opening my space. Because, for example, with this job now that I have, I'm grateful because when it came to museum operations, there's a lot I didn't know about. And just how the museum operates on a day-to-day basis outside of curating, outside of meeting with artists, outside of studio visits, all that stuff. There's a whole business that's into museums that I was very uninformed about.
Yeah.
So that's why I think I do still have this drive where I do want to work for museums that I love just to get the knowledge. But yes, the Lauren Lawrence gallery is the goal.
I feel like I need a Lawrence gallery.
I want it so bad. I could almost taste it.
I need one.
I could almost taste, and I don't want it to just be here. I want it to be in like every place that has inspired me artistically. Like, I want one in Jamaica. I want one in DR. I want one in New York.
Can you Jamaica gallery?
Jamaica gallery. Lauren Lawrence.
Fish fry in the back. Fish fry Friday.
Don't eat that fish fry in the gallery.
Come with y'all art and y'all babies will do finger painting in the back room.
And that's the thing. I love that, but there's so much knowledge that goes. Like, I don't want to start a business just for it to collapse.
But yeah,
which is part of the learning curve, of course. But I want to actually, and that's a big reason why I want to go to grad school is because I want to like get more of that accelerated knowledge. Yeah. So that way I know. When I open my gallery, I've given myself time to learn. Yeah,
and you can do it with more confidence, period. Exactly. Because even our other friend has been talking about going back to school, and I'm like, it's crazy because we all been applying to these things, and it's like even me, like thinking about going back to school, and it's just like just wanting to make the right next steps, and I think that's been like the biggest things. Like, like the job itch is there, but also like wanting to make sure like whatever these next steps are going to genuinely build that foundation for the future I really want, and not just doing things to do them to seem productive. Because at the end of the day, it's like you don't want to just go back to school and be like just there because you feel like that's what you're supposed to be doing.
Exactly, and that's what I had to tell myself was I didn't want to go back to school just because I missed it. Yeah. But, you know, we're gonna get to this itch. We're gonna put some lotion on.
We're gonna put some lotion on. Some shea butter.
Some shea butter.
Shea butter, baby.
And it's gonna get through. Yeah. And this is to everyone having a job itch. Yeah. You're gonna get moisturized real soon. Keep making those steps.
And just be disciplined with your own shit. Because at the end of the day, that's really what it comes down to. Mm-hmm. Like, it's annoying.
It really is. And we talk about this all day, every day.
All day, every day.
Ooh, it's about that time.
It's about that time for what?
Tea time. It's about to be wine time, actually.
We drinking on that wine today because the job itch has led us to this point.
Don't mind that it's already open. We started a little early.
It's funny because you guys actually didn't see our last episode because my hard drive crashed. Our hard drives crashed on the same week. It's actually kind of insane. Like, we both kind of like went through traumatic experiences. So you guys didn't even see the last episode, but we were low-key drunk. Like, it was actually really funny.
Low-key? or for real?
Like, it was a different vibe.
No,
like,
it was
we
a
may have to bring
vibe.
that back. Like,
no, we really might.
We may have to bring back the drunk conversations. And then we'll probably do that with like a guest and just get them dumb drunk and like
force them to talk about shit.
Yeah.
We're like, force them to talk. You don't mind our cups, y'all.
It's okay. That ain't no problem.
Ain't nothing with it. Ain't nothing.
Like,
there you go. We're sipping on Rare Earth. You can get this at your local Trader Joe's.
Trader Joe's.
It's a cap.
Trader Joe's needs to sponsor this podcast because we love their snacks,
their drinks. And I was a prior employee.
If you go look back on our Instagram page, we have a full charcuterie board photo shoot, and it's all Trader Joe's.
It really is. That photo shoot was hilarious. Alrighty. You like it?
Cheers.
I'm not much of a cab girl, but I'm
Cabernet always reminds me of chocolate. It always has this dark chocolate undertone to me.
It does because it's so strong. Like, that's why I'll be liking chocolate.
Like, is it dry or is it? It's dry.
This is dry to me.
This is very dry, actually,
but it's good.
Yum. So what's tea, girl?
So today my tea time isn't much about me, but we're interject with some experiences. Okay. So I'll be honest, guys. Today, before I got here, I was at work and I came across that interview with Gayle King and Megan Thee Stallion.
Okay.
And some of you guys may or may not have seen this interview, but in this interview, Megan first originally starts talking about how she came into her rap career, like how she blew up from that SoundCloud song. A lot of you remember.
Right.
And then to the incident that happened with her in Tory Lanez. The incident that happened with her in Tory Lanez. And as most of you may or may not know, it was an instance where they were leaving Kylie Jenner's house from a pool party, and shots have went off in the car they were in. Megan had got shot in her foot. And it's been this whole ordeal of people thinking,
is it real?
Is it real? Is she lying?
Yeah. It's this crazy thing. I feel like even when I try to imagine what happened that night, I can't even put my finger. Like, when did the gun come out and when did it go off? Like, the whole situation is just weird.
she goes in on, like, she definitely expands upon the experience,
situation,
but obviously to a point where it's very minimal because the trial is still going on.
Yeah.
So what she had said, which is like, to me, it's such a scary experience because I'll be honest, one of my biggest fears is getting shot. Like, it's not even just dying, it's just a bullet being interjected in my body. Like, that is one of my biggest fears, especially by a friend. You know what I'm saying? Someone you trust. Like, that is so terrifying.
And supposedly the tea was that the homegirl liked Tory.
I heard they was fucking.
And she was like trying to like cut in on like like, you know, when your homegirl likes a nigga and like all of a sudden your homegirl likes him. Yeah. It's like, bitch, like, and supposedly that's something like Meg did in the past. And it's like, of course we would never know. That's like homegirl shit.
Exactly.
But supposedly it was like this whole relationship thing. And I'm like, whoa. Like,
but actually, so getting to that in the interview, well, first she says how the argument started was that she wanted to leave the party, which is something that relatable.
Right. Like, I'm ready to go.
I'm ready to go. Nobody else wanted to go. And she even said she was at the house all day. Like, she was ready to go. Everybody was drunk.
Yeah.
They left. And in the car is when everybody started arguing. She notes that, like, she wasn't even really much in the argument. It was more like her friends in the back. She's not even specific about who's arguing yet. Yeah. And then she notes that at some point Tory Lanez gets out the window and starts, like, letting off shots. And then there's like an adrenaline, and she looks down and she looks out and she sees that she got shot. She shot, yeah. And then she leaves the car. Mind you, she's like, even in that video, which is so scary, you see she's only just in a bathing suit. Yeah. But the neighbors had called the police. Vulnerable. And she had lied to the police and said, I stepped on glass.
Yeah, because she didn't want the police to come and make it this big thing.
But what was sad is that she mainly did that because of, mind you, that was
trying
fresh
to protect him, you know?
Well, trying to protect him, but trying to protect all of them because this was also fresh after the George Floyd incident. Yeah, so she
it was fresh from like the whole, it was, I remember that time because it was so like heated and so spicy.
And it was like, so, and then, but you see how emotional and how traumatized she is from the situation. Yeah, and I think that's what, to me, it just hit me so hard because I'm like, yo, once again, no one is listening to a black woman. No one believes the black woman. Right. Like, she's making things up. And yes, it is unfortunate that her lying to the police is adding a negative impact on her case.
But it's like, think about it. You're coming home from a drunk pool party, like,
there's a hot gun in the car. Like, what other evidence?
All famous.
Bad. And TMZ. I think, and the way that, look, I have a hate-love relationship with Twitter, but the way Twitter has like been scrutinizing this woman about this experience, and none of y'all were even there. Right. Which is like with every celebrity experience.
And it's like scary. Every time it happens, I'm like, but do you guys
know them? Y'all
like,
pay their bills?
You know Ari? You know Lil Baby?
No.
You know Jada Waiter? Because like, come on now.
Come on.
They be knowing their whole everything, and it's just crazy.
And then what made it even, so I want to know how you feel about this too, because then I had happened to see like this follow-up discussion about it. I don't know if it's a podcast or not. They're called Cocktail with Queens, and it's like Lisa Ray, Vivica Fox, and
Auntie podcast.
Yeah. Who else is it? Oh, Selena Johnson and Claudia Jordan. So it's a real the Auntie podcast. Yeah. And Vivica kept saying that she didn't understand why Megan did the interview. She shouldn't have done it. Yeah. The case is still going on. You're like impacting the case. And to me, that triggered me because I feel like that's going back to like a lot of nuclear back families, them being like, oh, don't say what happened to you.
What happened to you from the uncle because then you
gonna cause something. Like why?
Bro, you don't think her lawyers told her she could do this interview? Is it really your business though?
Like for real, Vivica? Like for real.
Come on now. Because you know what it is? She's probably been silent about a lot of her traumas in the industry as a black woman. So it's kind of like she probably was looking at Meg like, you shouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that if I were you. Like, you know that energy of like, she probably shouldn't have done that, you know?
Exactly. And
it's like, no, let her speak. Like, it's been like a year now.
Almost 2, Kaylin. That was in 2020. That's crazy.
Like the girl can speak on her experience.
And the way they be being, like, I feel like it was only, look, okay, I get it because it's Gayle King. Yeah. And the last controversy,
it's real King like Gayle King was
R. Kelly. And I'm tired of this shit.
And something about that is reminding me of when after the whole Rihanna and Chris Brown incident happened, how she had that big Oprah interview.
Oh, that was with Oprah. Yeah. Why do I keep forgetting that was for some reason I thought that was good. Gayle King too.
It was with Oprah. And I'm like, Oprah, I feel like has like I feel like we touching on everybody right now. Oprah, Vivica, yeah, little baby Ari. But it's just interesting how like artists like they're not allowed to speak on things because it always gets missed. Like she can say exactly what happened and people are still gonna pick apart, you know?
Still, I'm looking at the comments. She lying. Like what? Like what? We're still not believing
just because they listen to Tory Lanez. I'm sorry. If you're looking at Tory Lanez, I believe her.
I believe her.
Just by how he looked.
And I believe her because that's her experience. What gives me the right to not believe her? And like, look, I think from Vivica's standpoint, she was saying it more in a sense of like, oh, her case is still going. So she was more thinking of like, is this implicating her case? But it's like, she didn't even go fully into detail like that.
She's probably telling the same story she's been telling us, you know?
Exactly. So that was my tea time because it really just had me thinking like, damn, it's unfortunate as a Black woman we're still like not being heard and like still being silenced even by other
in our community.
Like what?
That makes sense.
So I'm sending Megan Thee Stallion my love, and I hope you get through this. This is very traumatizing, and just even like
can't wait to have you on the show, Meg. I want you to talk about what that law means
to you, because that law is it better not correct this for real.
But my tea time, I really just wanted to talk about Mercury retrograde. Y'all, Mercury is retrograding. We're actually in the shadow period. Honestly,
like right now,
it may have started like today, tomorrow. I don't know. I probably should have Googled that, but watch out. Double check. Make sure y'all good. Make sure you triple check, you know, like before you leave. Like I have friends going out of town. I'm like, make sure you triple check your bags. Make sure your ID is in your wallet. Make sure you got your wallet, like
and your cards.
And, you know.
What is your Mercury in though? Like what sign is in your Mercury?
I think my Mercury is in Cancer. And if it's not in Cancer, it's in Leo. But it's one of those.
That's interesting.
I think it's in Leo, honestly.
That's funny because that's your sun sign, right?
Yeah.
That's the same thing here. Like my sun is in Pisces and my Mercury's in
Pisces. Is it Mercury? It's communication.
Yeah.
How you communicate yourself and express yourself.
Very hectic over here.
Very much annoying.
Crying.
Dark humor. My love language is dark humor and laughter in awkward situations.
You know, it's crazy because it's funny that you say it's Mercury coming up because I've been really overthinking my communication lately and just how I've realized because of the job itch, going back to that, I've low-key been a little irritable.
Yeah.
Which y'all know.
But that's a thing though. Like
but that's the thing. When you're irritable, naturally, it flows into your conversation without you thinking about.
Yeah.
And
now you're coming off abrasive and it's like, sorry.
Exactly. And like the biggest thing to me is like tone. Like how you say things can really change what you're saying. And even like with text, like things get like misconstrued
and all the time.
And it frustrates me because I'm like, oh shit. Like I know how I was coming out with that, but they're gonna take it as like, dang, like someone woke up on the wrong side of bed this morning. Like and that I've been just overthinking my communication at work, with my friends, with my family.
Yeah.
All day, every day.
Same.
And like disassociating as the Pisces that I am. Like, all right, you know what? Let me just pretend I'm not here. Just go into my dream world.
I go through this like thing of where I feel like I'm just like a horrible person and like everyone hates communicating with me. And I'm just like, you're such a bitch. And then I'm like, actually, you're the sweetest person I've ever known. And I'm just like tipsy-turving on that like thing of feeling like, oh, I gotta be a better person. But it's like, bitch, you're not gonna communicate in every scenario as like a perfect, ideal, empathetic human. You know, like you're gonna have your moments where you're just like,
a human,
huh? Like
literally
a little sarcastic. Like it's okay to be like that, honestly. But it's like just knowing how to like check yourself when it's necessary.
And that's it though. It's the checking yourself. And I think a lot of people don't do that.
Yeah.
A lot of people do not do that. And it's funny when I say irritable because I've been finding myself, and I feel like this is random too, where like when you go places and an incident happens and it's so rude that you find yourself like, you know, like where it's like drag her.
Yeah.
Like, drag her. I've
been that person. Like you love the chaos.
Well, not even love the chaos, but it's also like where I was at CVS the other day and
not the CVS. CVS be so drama.
The drama, and this woman was upset that the woman had told her, oh, we have the gel Advil, and they didn't, and she was so mad. She was like, you're evil. Wow. You evil. And then she turned around and said, that's why your afro fucked up. And I was like,
that's why your afro fucked up.
And I just immediately without even
it was the immediate cackle.
And her afro was very moisturized and looked very
like,
cute.
Bitch, fuck you actually.
It's
a fresh wash and go.
And then if you watch like The Office and Abbott Elementary, ever since I've been watching Abbott Elementary, I feel like my life has those extreme zoom ins where it's like,
where you're like no, I'm always like looking to the camera, like pan to camera.
And I just found myself like, it's never that serious without even thinking about it.
Yeah.
And she turned around like, it's never that serious.
Like,
ain't none of your business.
Yeah.
And I was like,
you jumped in, now it's like your problem. Like, listen, lady, drag her.
And I said it again. I was like, once again, as I'm looking at her having a moment, I'm like, it's never that serious though. Like, you're right, it's not my business, but you're also yelling over aisles while I'm trying to get my prescription.
It's actually my business now.
It's actually you're in my business
because I'm gonna.
But that goes to communication, because at the same point, you're right. I didn't have to say shit.
Yeah.
But it was that whole thing of like, I can't sit here and watch somebody else be disrespected because of me. So watch your communication, y'all. Don't get into trouble.
And another thing I did want to touch on for my tea time is I have been really trying to get in touch with my femininity. Like, I don't even know if I want us to do a whole episode on that. Now that I think about that.
We should, but we should give them a teaser right now.
Yeah. Because I don't know, like, my nails are pink. I like intentionally got pink because I felt like I was communicating and operating from a masculine space. And it's like from survival, you know, like from childhood, of just like the way I like even just look at myself sometimes, like, not to sound super like non-binary. But sometimes I like forget I'm a girl. Like, and it's not even that I feel like I'm a man. It's just I feel so in my masculine that I'm like, oh my God, like, girl, soft life. Yeah. Let's get into that soft life right now because you're just exerting way too much. So I do want to just say, like, I just want us to just be conscious of the way we come off, and also just like relaying it back to just trauma and like how we've grown up. And it's just like crazy because I really was like piecing back together like puzzles of like, I communicate this way because I operate in this space. Like, that actually is crazy. But we're actually going to get into that in another episode. That's actually a really good topic.
And just to end that off, remember, your masculinity and your femininity, they're literally social constructs. Yeah. It's how you construct them to be for around, you.
Right.
Because what's even being a girl? How is that to you? Like, who?
Right. What is being, and that's always been my question growing up though. What is being a girl?
Like, it's not just being pink. There's so much to it that defines for you though.
Yeah.
And we're going to get into that.
I need that soft life.
We need that, but
thank you guys so much for tuning into another episode of That Law Motherfucking Podcast.
Ooh, I like that.
You felt that?
I felt that.
Right. But thank you guys for listening. We're in this new space. We're excited. More to come.
Get used to it.
More guests. We have chairs.
With our imaginary guests coming soon.
Soon come.
But on that note, that law, we out.